Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again. And this time we're going to look at a game called Versus Gradius. And this is indeed the NES Classic, ported to the Nintendo Versus cabinet. The original game Gradius was created in 1985, and it looks a lot different from the NES and Versus games. The arcade one it looks different. It plays a little different. The level layout is different in places. It looks a little bit better. Looks and sounds a little bit better than the NES and Versus versions. The Versus and Nintendo versions, I don't know that there's any differences whatsoever. I think the challenge is about the same. Usually for the Versus games, the challenge was a little bit stiffer than its NES counterparts. But those of you who have never heard of Gradius must have been living in a cave. This was a super popular game way back in the day. You just fly through these space scenarios and shoot these enemies. A number of them will give you these little power-up capsules, and you have a meter at the bottom that will bump up one space every time that you collect one of those capsules. And you can power up your weapons that way. You start with regular shots, you can get faster speed, you can pick up missiles, you can pick up lasers, you can pick up double shots, you can pick up options, which are kind of like clone ships. They shoot when you shoot, and you can pick up a shield. We'll go ahead and get started. I won't play through by any means whatsoever, because that'll take longer than I want to put time in for it. But I have missiles now. Yeah, this was really popular for the NES. The music is fantastic. Konami just created a groundbreaking title with this. Now I've got lasers. Lasers are always great. Definitely take advantage of the extra weapons you can get earlier on. There are some cool cheats that are on both the Versus version and the NES version, and we'll look at them. There's more on the NES version than there is here, including the classic Konami code, up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, which allows you to get all your weapons to start with, or the really good ones anyway. And there I activated the clone, or the option. We'll look at a number of other hidden tricks, including level warps and hidden 1-ups and 5,000 point bonuses. You should pretty much already know all about Gradius. I mean, if you were a video game fan back in the 80s. The original Gradius showed up at number 2 in my 20 from 1985 series. And the original was also called Nemesis. And here is, towards the end of the first level, volcanoes that spew out rocks. I always stay in the top left and have my options plus lasers by this point, so I can easily survive as long as I keep shooting. And then, of course, here's the famous... he has a name. It's Xaereous Core ship. And you have to keep shooting at his center until he blows up. The hit detection on those hatches, or whatever you want to call them, on that ship is spotty at best. You swear you hit dead center and it still doesn't register, but at any rate, just keep shooting until he's dead. And then you move on to scene 2. There are level warps that allow you to pass a level. There's one on level 1, level 2, and level 3. and you can warp to as high as level 5. And this level features breakaway walls. You can shoot the little red dots that make up walls. You don't get any points for shooting breakaway walls, which is kind of lame. But those guys are called hatches that spew out multiple enemies. There will be some blue power-up type of icons that you can collect that will act as a smart bomb. It'll destroy every enemy on screen. There is also a hidden trick to get rapid fire, and I don't know if it really works on this game. I thought I got it to work, and I tried it the same way the second time and it didn't work. We'll discuss that a little bit later too. But I definitely remember seeing the Versus Gradius arcade cabinet back in the day. There's a 1-up right there, and I got it. That is a hidden 1-up. But there are certain places where you can just move your ship to and you'll get a 5,000 point bonus or an extra life. You also get an extra life, I think, like every 100,000 points. And now here you just move around, and when you see an enemy start to formate, don't stay in that spot. I will skip ahead to later parts of the game a little bit later. We don't need to see a whole playthrough. That'll take longer than I want to give it time. But here is the Xaereous Core again. That shield can take 3 hits from enemy fire before it disappears. I got an extra life at 100,000. Yeah, we'll scoot ahead to the 3rd level here. On the 3rd level, there is an icon or icons of Konami's rich history, and they are called the Moai statues, and they are Easter Island statues. They are seen in a ton of Konami games, and they got their start in Gradius. But these guys are a pain in the butt. They shoot these little circles at you, and they shoot from all over the place. We'll just skip ahead to the end of this level, and you have to destroy these creatures. Fortunately, the shots they fire are slow, and we'll zip ahead and I'll destroy the Xaereous Core again. And we'll scoot ahead. This is the start of the next level, level 4. This is the double shot. Don't get the double shot, it sucks. I mean, it's helpful if you shoot, if you're shooting enemies on the ceiling, but other than that, I hate it. At some point, I put on invincibility. I just wanted to zip through the game quicker. But you've probably seen this, the Versus version of Gradius. Now, this level, you get to kind of replay the volcano stage or sequence from the first level, except it's upside down. And you can go in between the volcanoes for more bonuses, just like you could in the first level. And then you have upside down volcanoes. And then you destroy the Xaereous Core again. And this is the start of, is it level 5? There are a total of 6 levels. And once you beat the 6th level, then you start everything all over again, and you get a 100,000 point bonus. And again, you get an extra life for every 100,000 points. Those lasers, yeah, you definitely wanna get them going as quickly as you can. They really help. And now we've got these meatball enemies. They look like meatballs with tentacles. Maybe it was 7 levels that you have to face. But yeah, you shoot the meatballs. I like to call them meatballs. They make me think of meatballs. And then you'll destroy it. And then there's the Xaereous Core again. Yeah, we'll skip forward to the next level. And here we have breakable walls again. And again, they don't give you any extra points. We have these creatures that appear in Life Force. These little amoeba type blobs here. Like I said, I'll show you all the tricks that I know of later on. For at least the that at least work in the versus version. There is an up, down, down, left, right, BA trick for the NES version that lets you start off with full weapons. I think I mentioned that earlier. And then at the end of this level, you just stay in place and shoot as fast as you can. And then that'll be the end of the level. But yeah, I think the first place I saw this was at a bowling alley in, maybe it was Tacoma, Washington. I can't remember for sure. Somewhere around there. But yeah, the original Gradius was created in 1985 by Konami, and it was also called Nemesis. It's spawned a bajillion other games in the series, and the original looked a bit different from the Versus and Nintendo versions. But here is the last level. There is a part where you have to scoot forward enough, or you'll be trapped and die. I have invincibility on, and here's that part. Needed to scoot forward before that wall closed, or else you would have crashed and died. And when you die, you have to start backwards a ways. You don't get to pick up where you left off. Eventually, the planet will explode. And then you go and start everything over again, and like I said, you get a 100,000 point bonus. And in just a moment, we'll look at the tricks that I know of for versus Gradius. We'll look at hidden 5,000 point bonuses and 1-ups. There's one of them. In between any of those split volcanoes, you'll get a 5,000 point bonus. And then there's a 1-up there on the second level. And a 5,000 point bonus on the third level with the Moai statues. And a 1-up up top there. And then on this level, you'll see a 1-up at the top there. And then on the upside down volcano level, there's a 1-up there to the left of that floating rock. And there's a trick if what is it? If you get your score, the thousands digit of your score even, and destroy 4 of those hatches. See at the bottom right, that spew out the enemies, you will warp to level 3 after beating the level. And now, if you want to go from level 2 to level 4, you have to destroy that Xaereous Core when he's blue within 2 seconds. And then you'll get a warp. And here's what the warp looks like. Get out of the way of those floating Moai statues. They can still kill you. But you will warp. If you did this at the end of level 2, you will warp to level 4. That's very helpful because level 3 is a pain in the butt with all those Moai statues shooting at you. Yeah, there's the double in action. I don't like the double. I much prefer the laser. I still have invincibility on. But next trick is if you want to warp from level 3 to level 5, you have to destroy 10 Moai statues, and then you beat the level. There's the Moai statues. You have to destroy 10 of them, and when you beat the boss at the end of that, you get to warp to level 5. Like this. Yep, more floating Moai statues. Get out of the way of them. But again, yeah, if you want to do the warp from 1 to 3, you have to get the 1000th digit of your score even, and then destroy 4 hatches, and then you'll warp to level 3 after you beat that level. And now we're going to look at... there is the question mark at the end. If you would go from the question mark to the speed one, the next one over, when your 5th digit is 0, then apparently you get rapid fire. That might not work. I don't know for sure. But that was versus Gradius by Nintendo in 1986. The original being in 1985. Well, this is Crazy Clamorini saying thanks for watching versus Gradius by Nintendo in 1986. And I will catch you later in the future with another video. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.